come to order. Thank you. We ready to go? Yeah. Good evening and welcome to tonight's meeting of the Major Applications Planning Committee. Welcome to those who will view this either live or later online, depending on, we get quite good viewing numbers sometimes, depending on what we've got. There are no petition items tonight, so no speaking rights, so that will keep life fairly short and simple. Could I do apologies for absence first, please?
Councillor Chapman sends his apologies and Councillor Brightman is substituting.
Thank you. Any declarations and matters of interest coming before tonight's meeting? No. Minutes of the 2nd of October in the bundle. Can I take those as agreed? Agreed. Thank you. The agenda we are taking is the one published with the exception of item 12, which was withdrawn by the Head of Planning earlier today, the Rainbow and Kirby Industrial Estate, so that one is gone. And you all should have had revised plans for item 10, Fannock House, paper versions of, because the plans in the plan pack were not entirely accurate. All matters are in part 1. Could I please ask that all mobile phones are switched off or at least to silent before we begin? And then we will kick off. And a welcome back to Nicole Cameron, our legal advisor. His first meeting back, I think.
It is.
So, we'll see how interesting we can make the evening. Okay. Officers are going to do items 6 and 7 as one presentation because they are intrinsically tied together. The principles of this are relatively straightforward. The detail that's hidden within it is anything but. So I think the devil is in the detail here as opposed to the actual principles. So there's a fair bit in the addendum which I would refer everyone to before we start, which has moved quite a lot of things around, but there may well be more. The other thing we will do when we come to votes, I'm going to take a vote on item 7 first, because that's the substantive item, i.e. that's the new builds. If that isn't acceptable, then there's no point in changing 6. If we accept 6, if we don't take 7, we've kind of messed it up. So, with no more words from me, Amanda, will you take us into 276 Bath Road?
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, members. Item 6 and 7, as we've just, as Councillor Lavery just mentioned, is 276 Bath Road, which is located on the northern side of Bath Road. The red line plan on the site location on the screen shows its positioning. So predominantly to the south, you'll find the main Heathrow Airport operations. By way of background, the application site is not within Greenbelt, but there is Greenbelt around the perimeter of this site. There are other buildings within this industrial business area, which is part of the application site, within the yellow land parcel on the plan, predominantly, although there are hotels and other commercial uses on this area of Bath Road, further south is the airport boundary. Planning permission was granted for a 623-bed hotel in October 2016. When this planning permission was granted, the proposals involved a significant area of surface-level car parking to accommodate hotel users and staff. So this is shown on the plan on the screen at the moment. So the hotel building was predominantly to the south of the site, a long linear building, and the area to the north was surface-level car parking. The planning permission, which is now sought under agenda item number 6, is to vary the approved plans for this main hotel to the south to allow a reduced quantum of surface level car parking. Parking provision, however, will not be lost, as it's proposed under agenda item number 7 to be re-provided in a multi-storey car park. Skipping forward a step, this is a proposed block plan which shows the consented hotel, which has actually been constructed, and I can show you some photos of it later on, and the multi-storey car park to the furthest northern part of the site, and the new infill 250-bed hotel, which is the proposal. These two buildings, per se, are the two agenda items under consideration under agenda item number 7. So, by way of clarification, the red line plan for agenda item number 7 is just the area to the north and then the access road, which provides vehicular access for users from the Bath Road. Agenda item 7, as I've just mentioned, is a full planning application on the northern part of the site only, which is the former surface level car parking to provide a new 250-bed hotel and a multi-storey car park to serve all of the hotels on the site. You may have seen reference in the committee report to there being 3 hotels. That is correct, and you may be wondering where the third hotel is. So just to clarify, this linear large hotel to the south of the site is actually 2 hotels, 2 hotel promoters, so one to the rear and one to the front is the easiest way to explain it. Hence the reason that effectively there will actually be 3 hotel operators operating from 2 buildings across the bigger land parcel. I apologise that it's extremely confusing. If I take you through some more of the plans, this is the existing site plan because the building for the larger hotel to the south has actually been constructed and is almost finished, I believe. These are the elevations which show what was consented for the large hotel. So it starts predominantly at 6 stories along the Bath Road and decreases in height to the rear. Now in these plans you can see the scale of the other business units which are located on the western side of the application site. These are the proposed courtyard and court. I know it says it's a car park plan. The title of this slide says car park plan. I'm not sure where that is, but we've got one a little later on. These are proposed elevation detail sections. The proposed hotel to the rear of the site, so this is the new 250-bed hotel, is 4 stories in height. So you can see the consented hotel which has been built, which is 5 stories at its highest to the rear of the site. So essentially when we were looking at this application through pre-application stage, etc., we wanted the scale of the built form to slope downwards. I do believe I have a picture or a section at least. This is the ground floor of the new hotel and all of the hotel floor plans. And this is a plan of the surface level parking provided predominantly to the sides, and then this area to the rear is the multi-storey car park. And these are the floor plans of the car park and the new hotel, and there is a section which shows the scale of the. There we go. If you look at the image in the middle, it shows the consented 5-storey hotel, the proposed 4 stories, and then the sloping down of the built form for the car park to the rear at the rearmost part of the site. I should take you through some photos. So this is the hotel to the south, so the 600-bed hotel, which has been constructed, and you can see not quite finished in some areas. At least I hope that means it's not quite finished. There we go, just some photos from around the site, obviously taken a long time ago. And these are some of the buildings that surround the site on the western boundary, so within the industrial business area. As I said, the principle of development is deemed to be acceptable. The site is located on the Bath Road, and albeit within an IBA area, it is identified as a location that's suitable for hotel provision in the adopted local plan Part 1. The committee reports are supported by the addendum reports, which set out that the Floodwater Management Officer raises no further objections. I apologise that the length of the addendum is so long, but what we have tried to do, because there are 2 hotel operators and there is every potential that any one of those parcels could be sold at any future time, that when we agree the landscaping, car parking and management strategies for all of the hotels on this site, we want them in the legal agreement rather than as conditions to ensure that we can secure for whoever later owns and operates the land, the successful operation of all of the hotels under a single land parcel. Accordingly, the application is recommended for approval. So that's both items, 6 and 7 are recommended for approval.
Who wants to start me off? Councillor Oswald?
Thank you very much, Chairman. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly in the right place, isn't it? Because it's all hotels and businesses along there anyway. Just a couple of things. With the hotel that's already more or less constructed, is this going to be a shared multi-storey car park for both hotels?
Yes, so the multi-storey car park would serve all 3 hotel operators, and that's why it's secured in the legal agreement.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Yeah, I mean, it's well, it doesn't impinge on any domestic properties, I don't think. I mean, right till you get down to Pinkleston Close and all, it's already well established anyway. So yeah, that's okay. Thank you very much.
Councillor Duncan, then Councillor Morse.
Thank you, Chair. I noticed that it's 5 stories at the front, reducing to 4 stories, whereas previously it was no stories, where it was car parking. And there are units, I accept it's an IBA, but it wasn't clear what the height of the adjoining units were. I mean, I saw a building that was 2 stories in height. And I know we're meant to be, under guidance, sensitive to the close proximity to the green belt. So could I just ask what the height of those buildings are? Because if they're 2-storey, then I think that this should be 2-storey to accommodate the proximity to the green belt and the adjoining development. Thank you.
So if I take you through, this is probably the best plan to show the relationship of the other buildings. So the hotel, which is consented, the 600-bed hotel is here, and these buildings in grey are the built form that exists. So whilst it might be a office, which is only 2 stories, it could be quite high head heights. So in terms of story heights, I'm not sure. Some of those photographs did show it to be maybe 2 to 3 stories, but in terms of actual built form, I think that the new 4-storey development, so the new hotel and then the new multi-storey car park, they don't really exceed the height of those buildings there.
Thank you. Could we just see those photographs? Yes. Because I know that people can say anything on plan, but it's good to look at it in reality.
Okay.
That's probably 3, not 4.
Part of it is 3, isn't it? Looks like part of it is 3.
That's right. So it'd probably be a part 2, part 3-storey building, but again, they do look quite generous in terms of floor-to-ceiling height, which is why comparatively, obviously, the hotel operators don't need significant floor-to-ceiling height, so they don't show as excessively high in comparative when you're doing a section plan.
Has it been checked by anybody, that height?
Oh, well, they're only given consent for the heights that they've provided on the floor plans or on the drawings that are provided, so they are comparative.
Have we checked those plans from when they were built and what those heights are?
No.
Would it be possible to do that?
Not today. I'm not sure when the buildings were actually built in that part of the IBA. I think we need to be reliant upon the fact that the section plans that we have are accurately reflecting what's there already and therefore are comparable in height to the proposal.
You can see where I'm coming from. I'm quite happy if it's already there, if it's 1-storey, one enormous story, and it's a huge exhibition centre or something, fine. But I'm just concerned that it matches in with that because of its close proximity to the green belt that we do have.
Could I make a suggestion?
I feel confident that they are comparable in height.
I'm sure they are. I do know, just as I'm sitting here thinking, that there isn't a levels condition on application 7, because that would give us a fixed point and at least something on height, would it not?
Yes, and we could do a bespoke levels condition that meant we wanted details of neighbouring buildings as well. We've done that before.
Let's just.
I think that would be immensely helpful, because I think this is not the first time we've come across this kind of issue, if I can put it that way. Thank you.
I think we may have seen it once or twice before. Councillor Morse.
Mr. Chair, condition 7, car park management plan. I'm not unclear how this works, because it seems to refer we'll have a review, but if we grant the number of places which in the plan to them, what powers do we have actually to reduce them? If you look at the plan, it's because the issue here is if we extend backwards into the site, we lose all our screening. The original plan had clear amount of screening, and this appears to be you seem to be trying to address the concern, but how does it work?
We're on page 36. It's number 7, condition 7. Yeah, no, I knew where we were. One that talks about, it's the second half of that condition that talks about a review. I think what the councillors picked. Yeah, no, I know what you picked up.
Can I say, I think it's primarily to release the surface level parking to get more landscaping. So we're not proposing to do away with the multi-storey car park. That would be the permanent fixed solution for parking, and this is to try and see if there's any possibility of getting more greenery around all of the buildings that are proposed. So if I go back to the floor plan of the whole site, is it here? Let's go to the bigger one. So there is surface level parking I mentioned along here and all along the side, so all along the sides of the building, and including in front of the main 600-bed hotel. So predominantly what we would like to see long term is improvements in landscaping, more planting, more trees, better for drainage, but that's not something we can seek from day one. But if we can try and get it through, potentially reduce usage and maybe more use of the hopper bus, which is part of the Section 106 agreement, we may get an overall better development in a few years' time.
Does that answer your concern or not? You didn't look like you were totally convinced. That's all I was trying to read what you were thinking.
It strikes me that the fact that we've removed this screening from the original plan, actually, like it's in policy 20.
I think I understand what the condition's trying to do, and I think what the head of planning is reflecting on at the moment is whether that wording actually would achieve what we're seeking. I think which is where you were coming from, because at the moment we are down on screening significantly in this. Councillor Edwards.
Thank you very much, Chairman. If I may first of all pick up the level of the issue of the levels, and whilst I understand where Councillor Duncan is coming from, it wouldn't concern me unduly if there were a stepping up from the height of the surrounding buildings as we move towards the higher hotel already constructed. And I draw attention to page 54 under the Heathrow safeguarding, where they're quite express in stating a maximum height not exceeding 39.5 metres AOD, and the radar line is shown clearly on the plan. It seems as though they are in agreement with what is being submitted, and that sits comfortably with me, so I don't believe we need to be any more stringent than the plans as presented. There are a couple of very, very minor issues that I would pick up. Firstly, that was Heathrow Safeguarding have commented on the landscaping. We have in here condition on number 6 around complying with the landscaping plan. That shows oak trees, which Heathrow Safeguarding say should not be included. So that needs to be removed, I believe.
Hang on.
The comment is on page 20.
No, I know where the comment is. I'm just trying to see where we put... Is landscaping now in the head's terms, or is that still a condition? So is that coming out? does condition 4 need reworking? Because actually the whole landscaping strategy is now part of the S106, isn't it? I'm on the new hotel, number 7. I think that's where we're concentrating at the minute, because that's the one that doesn't yet exist. The other one essentially exists anyway, so not much we can do with that.
So condition 4 is proposed to be deleted as a condition and moved to the heads of terms so that we can secure all the details. Now, I'm fairly certain there was an informative, I believe it's on the other application, about oak trees that we should have imposed on this application. In terms, so condition number 8, page number 17, should also be imposed on agenda item number 7. And I apologise that it wasn't. So that is an informative to tell the applicants that the English oak trees are not acceptable by way of landscaping proposals.
Fine. It's just being clear that we're approving a set of plans that shows oak trees, and it should be, and notwithstanding the plans, there shouldn't be oak trees. Would just be my observation. And I also think in the item 7, which is the new build, there needs to be a materials condition, as there was some concern about
You are right.
design. Thank you.
Have we got? Yeah. James, you do that.
Just going back to the car park management plan, condition 7 on page. Sorry, my mic's on. I think condition 7, page 36, needs to be split in two. So there's 2 separate conditions. So there's one that properly deals with the management strategy, and then a separate one that talks about a future review mechanism, because otherwise the two don't sit very well together. I'd like delegated authority to split the two so that we have 2 standalone conditions that are slightly clearer, rather than trying to merge the two together. That I think will cause confusion to both the applicant and officers in the future.
Yeah. Makes more sense. Yeah, good. Mandy, you suggested condition 8 from number 6 needs to go on agenda item 7. Informative aid. Page 17, let's find it. Ah, right, yep, okay. So that's informative 8 to add. Right, is anybody... Councillor Duncan?
Yes. Does it include anything, as our colleague, Councillor Morgan would say, for motorcycles? Because there will be staff who I'm sure will
you are... they are conspicuous by their absence, I think, is the... and I've, of course, forgotten that, having not been reminded for a few months.
Yeah. Can I have delegated authority to add at the usual 1
Yes.
motorcycle per 20 car parking spaces ratio?
Yeah.
Sorry, Chairman.
Yeah.
On this issue, I believe the 1 motorcycle per 20 is probably too large. I can't imagine many people visiting the hotel will be travelling by motorcycle.
I think staff will, particularly those starting early where there may not be the transport.
I
provision.
accept the limit, but 120 across the whole site would be high, would be my observation.
Be some young visitors maybe who would like to get around London that way, because it's an easy way to get around. And it's cheap. And it's cheaper, yeah.
To make it easy for head of planning, I'm happy to stick to standards. Any others? No?
Can I just clarify, the amount of electric charging points is to be included in the...
S106.
Section 106.
Yes.
So that's a fixed matter.
Yeah.
And it's going to be 88, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in the addendum, 88.
Addendum,
Yeah.
And TfL asked for, on that site for 70, I think, didn't they?
Yeah, I think TfL comments were a little bit confusing
Yeah.
because they weren't really accounting for what was already on the other site.
Yeah.
But 88 is the right answer for the right number of parking spaces, so we'll go with that, I think.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody got any other bits before I summarise where we are and try and get us to go forward? Okay. And correct me if I've got it wrong, because I've been scribbling away furiously, so it is perfectly possible I've missed something. And the legal officer will no doubt should be up to speed tonight, and therefore will catch me if I'm wrong. On item 6, there are the only change on item 6 would be the motorcycle, wouldn't it? Would need to be in the S106, and there are no other changes to that plan. On 7, we're delegating to the head of planning to include a levels condition, materials condition, and a split condition 7. There was some debate on the levels. I know Councillor Edwards took a slightly different view. Everybody else kept quiet, so I had a 1-1 and left it in.
No, I don't have a different view. I just believe that the Heathrow safeguarding have expressly stated what the level should be, and if we exceed that, then we will be breaching Heathrow safeguarding, which wouldn't be wise.
Which is why we need to condition it.
Okay. I think we'll put it in for safety. So we've got levels, materials, and a split of condition 7 on these are all on the second application, to split the review from the car park management. An informative 8 from the first application about the trees is to be added to the second application, and motorcycles again need to go in. Have I captured all of it? And of course, they're both applications are subject to what's in the addendum, because that significantly changes what's in the report. On that basis, could somebody take me forward? Oh, Councillor Duncan? Oh. Right. Right, so we're proposed and seconded on item 7. All those in favour, please clearly show. Thank you. On item 6, can I take...
I'll move item
6.
I'll move item 6.
Right, and all those in favour, please clearly show. Good, thank you very much. Right, you will please know that's the two most complex bits of the night done. Right, item 8 is a out-of-borough consultation from South Bucks on page 75 of your bundle.
We don't like it.
Would you like Madam just to give a short presentation to explain why you might not like it, in case your view changes?
No.
The application is an out-of-borough consultation issued to us by South Bucks District Council. The proposal seeks retrospective consent for the use of the site as storage and distribution. You'll see from the constraints plan that it is Greenbelt land within our boundary. The site is within Greenbelt, has no very special circumstances for the proposals that have been put forward, and accordingly the Council wished to issue a letter of objection to the proposals for South Bucks to consider in their determination. Thank you.
Councillor Oswald wished to propose officer
recommendation.
I'll
move officer's recommendation.
On the basis of your previous comment. You'll second that, thank you. All those in favour of refusal, please clearly show. Thank you, that one's done. Item 9, Unit 1, Elston Business Centre, Springfield Road, Hayes, which is a change of use from A1 to a gym. Madam.
Thank you, Chair. Item number 9 is a proposal for the change of use of Unit 1 within a retail parade from use class A1 to a 24-hour gym. So outlined in red is the application site, and it is one of 3 units within this built block, and this warehouse is its own retail unit at the moment. The application proposal is for the block itself and also for the car parking area, because it would be providing shared car parking for the retail units and the new gym. This is the existing site plan, which shows the shared car parking layout and the unit in its location in the corner, the existing ground floor plan, the existing elevations, which are fairly typical for a retail park, and this is the proposed site plan. Highlighted in green here, very small, are 8 cycle spaces, which are proposed to be provided with the unit. You'll see from the addendum that we actually want 18, so we are securing by condition that the others are provided within the building, or if they're able to secure through lease agreements, additional cycle spaces externally, that is also an option, but they need to provide us with the details prior to occupation of the gym. The proposed floor plans would use a mezzanine floor at first floor level, so it's only a partial area of the first floor and all of the ground floor as the 24 gym operation. These are the proposed elevations. They're not significantly different. There are some minor changes to the shop front, and any signage that's proposed would have to come forward as a separate advert application to be considered by officers or the council. This is a bird's eye view of the application site, and this is, I'm not sure if it's closed down or whether it is still operational. I apologise for not knowing, but it's the Carpetright store that's proposed to be changed within this retail unit. This is just the car park that would serve the application site. The proposed gym would positively contribute to the creation of a healthy use within the industrial business area. The external modifications are modest and sympathetic to the host building, and the existing car parking spaces that serve the retail parade are sufficient for the proposed use. We have asked for a revised site location plan, so that's, let me go back a step, this location plan. Originally we were only provided with a red line around the building. We wanted to ensure that we were able to secure the car parking for users of the future occupiers, so we asked for a revised red plan with the car parking area. We have had to reconsult, and the consultation period is still ongoing and expires on the 5th of November. Therefore, we are recommending approval, but it's subject to there being no substantive objections received. We haven't received many to date. And should there be concerns raised, this will be coming back to Planning Committee. If there aren't any concerns, we're hoping to recommend or approve the application after the consultation expires on the 5th of November. Thank you.
The Head of Planning...
Sorry, just a very small bit of housekeeping. There's no policies within the wording for the reason to condition 3. Can I just have delegated authority to add the policies to go with the wording for the reason? Thank you, Chairman.
Yeah, I think that's entirely sensible. Councillor Brightman, I think I spotted you indicating.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Currently, that car park isn't open 24 hours a day because it's a known hotspot for donutting, and so the police tend to close
Must
it
be a form of
around 9
antisocial
o'clock.
behaviour I'm not familiar with. But yeah.
And so I just wondered how that's going to impact operations of a 24-hour-a-day gym.
That is an excellent question.
It's a highway. It's going to duck it fairly fast.
Chair, if I may have a go. Obviously, depending on the level of usage, Chair, of the nighttime usage of the gym, potentially they'll create activity, people going in and out, which may actually act as at least a part deterrent to any antisocial behaviour potentially going on. We're not talking about masses of people going in, but there will be activity, which could...
I think the councillor's question was probably a concern. I don't know this car park, others may know it better than me, but is this one secured off at night presently and therefore unusable outside of normal store trading hours, which would be 8 or 9 o'clock? Is it not? Yes? Am I getting a yes? Oh. Ah.
Yes, well, that
is now going to be open 24 hours a day, and if there's the council's concern is if there's no gym use, we'll be back to the antisocial behaviour that may well have occurred here in the past. Well, I'm just...
Yeah, can I just ask, have they said it's now going to be open as a result of this? It may be that the management of the car park will still keep it closed. We don't know, do we?
Car parking spaces for the gym.
I know, but if it's closed at the moment...
well, Chair, they do have control over that car park, so they would have made arrangements to facilitate this particular proposal, to actually make it open, and then obviously use relative controls, appropriate controls. So.
But we don't know that, do we? And so a 24-hour car park of that size, I think, raises issues that we must consider.
Some assumptions in here.
Yeah, we must consider.
Which I wasn't aware of.
Could I suggest maybe a car park management plan and then maybe the installation of some automatic barriers in the evenings? So only control barrier openings in the evening hours, not during the daytime when it's not necessary. They might not be willing to do it, but if it is a concern and it's obviously there is antisocial behaviour that councillors know of in the area, it might be a need. There may be a need to provide some mechanism.
Councillor Oswald?
Yeah, thank you very much, Chairman. I think that might be sensible because in the area currently, you've got an Asda car park in Hayes that's being used for donutting. Also, Tesco's car park at Bulls Bridge. They've taken measures to try and stop that by putting sleeping policemen all over the place, which are a bit of a pain, but it's a necessity now, unfortunately. So that's locally. Well, this is local. So I think there's a point to be made here. Whether or not it's in our power to do anything about it or not, I don't know, because we don't own the site. It will be the applicants. So maybe we could condition it, if at all possible.
Yeah, I'm beginning to wonder whether we need a little bit more information to make sure we are comfortable with where this is going, because we are agreeing a 24-hour use, and if that car park should end up being open,
Should we defer it?
Well, I think that's where I was going to take you, to suggest that I think we need more information to be certain what's going on.
Well, I'm quite happy to move that if that's what's needed.
Can we also discuss with the police?
Well, that would be part of what I expect you coming back.
Yeah, I was going to suggest we defer it, but I think some of the issues is where it's been taking place at Asda, the police couldn't get the CCT to find out what car did it, and there's all sorts of issues like that. So I really think this needs to be investigated further, and I think I could commend the councillor for raising this point.
I think I would maybe suggest that a condition is something that could resolve it, and if the applicants weren't willing to accept the condition subject to the approval, then we would obviously need to bring it back to members for consideration, and then that resolves.
Can we just hold for 5? I have the head of planning has a kind of an idea. We've some interested guests in the audience. I'm just wondering if any of those. You can't join this meeting, but you may be able to consult with planning officers. Are either of you the applicant or the agent for this one? You are.
If officers could have a 5-minute adjournment, and then that might resolve things. If it doesn't, then I would suggest it's deferred. But if officers, rather than just go straight for the deferral, you're happy to adjourn for 5 minutes.
We are, given the rest of the agenda, we're running okay for time, so we've only got one more after this. Yeah, okay. 5 minutes or so.